Do you want to use the MacBook scroll effect like this? Or maybe you just want to use the Google Gemini effect in your website? How about the 3D card? Amazing animated tooltip? Maybe you need a scroll animation like this? How about the cool SVG effect like this? This background gradient also looks cool. What about a 3D pin? Cool, huh? You can use all of that by using the most trendy animated UI component library. So what am I talking about? Of course, I'm talking about the Trendy UI. Now I'm going to click on this browse button. And it's going to bring us to this component page, and here you can see we have all of their components which we can use inside our project. But now the question is, how in the world we are going to be using all of their components inside our project? So to use that, the first thing which you have to do is that we have to make a setup here. So I'm going to be using a Next.js for this project, and I'm going to give it the name of like demo. And TypeScript yes, ESLint yes, Tell Me CSS yes, src directory yes, app router yes, everything yes. Everything is now successfully installed. So I'm gonna just go ahead and go to my demo folder, and now let me open my VS Code inside that folder. Now let me just do a bit of cleanup. So I'm going to just delete this public folder. I'm going to go ahead and go to my app, and I'm going to just delete this favicon. And now let me just remove every single thing from this component except this Tell Me CSS import. So now let me just save that, and I'm going to go ahead and go to my page.tsx. I'm going to remove every single thing from there, and I'm going to be just using the RAFC. And now let me just give it the name of like home. Let me just save this file. And finally, let me just provide a configuration for my images. So I'm going to go ahead and provide that. Okay, so I'm going to just save this file, and now we are totally ready to go. Let's suppose if you want to use this 3D card effect. So how in the world we are going to be doing that? Well, they are suggesting that first of all we are going to have to install these packages. So I'm going to just click on that. Let me just open my terminal, and I'm going to just place this command right here. So it's going to take a bit of time to install all of that packages. But now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to create this utils folder, and inside this utils folder we're going to have to create our TypeScript file like this. So I'm going to just copy that, and here you can see that packages are now successfully installed. So I'm going to just close that, and now let me just create that files right here. So here you can see first of all it's going to create our folder, and inside this folder we have this cn.ts right here. So what do we have to do inside this cn.ts file? We just have to copy this code, and now let me just place that, save my file. Now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to create this path. I'm going to copy that, and now let me just create that right here. Okay, so it will now create this component folder, and inside this component folder we have the UI folder, and inside this UI folder we have this 3d-card.tsx file. And now inside this file we are going to be just expanding that, and now let me just copy all of that code. Let me just place that, save my file, close that. Then we have to just use this component inside our page. So I'm going to just click on this code, and here you can see we are now going to be copying all of that code. And now inside this app, first of all we are going to be creating our card page, and now inside this card we are going to be creating our page.tsx. and now let me just paste all of that code which I just copied right here. Okay, so it's going to give us a few warnings. The first thing which you have to do is that we have to fix this one. I'm going to close that. Let me use the add symbol, and we want to go into the components folder, and inside this component folder we have a UI, then we have a 3D card right here. So now this one is fixed. Now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to cut this export from here. We have to go to the bottom, and we have to use export default 3D card demo. So now let me just save that. I'm going to close this file, but now we have to use that inside our app. And now inside that I'm going to just remove this home from here, and we are going to be using our link. So I'm going to just write this link right here, and if I hit enter, so it's going to just auto import that for me. And now let me just provide the href, and it's going to go ahead and go to the card, and let's just provide a bit of classes to it. So I'm going to just provide like margin for the right of 5, and now let me just close that right here, and I'm going to just say like card. So now let me save this file. I'm going to open my terminal right here, and I'm going to be using npm run dev to spin up my server on this port. So I'm going to just click on that, and here you can see it's going to give us that card right here. And now what I want to do is that I'm going to go ahead and go to my global. PG will be set to totally black, and also the text color will be set to totally white. So now let me just save that. And here you can see this is how it looks like. But now if I click on this card, it's going to bring us to this card component page right here. And now if I hover my mouse over to there, so here you can see we are now getting this 3D animation, and this is our first card. So that was our card. Now let me just try out this one, and I guess this is going to be the final one. And you can check out all of their components right here, and you can play around with the code by yourself. But now let me just try out this one right here. We have to install all of their packages which we've already installed, but now let me just reinstall that right here. So we're going to be installing the framer motion and the tailwind merge. So now that's successfully installed. So now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to go ahead, and we already did this stuff, so we're not going to be touching that. Now we have to go ahead and create this file right here, which is 3dpin.tsx. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my component, then I'm going to go ahead and go to my UI. Let me just create a file, and I'm going to just give it this name right here. And now I'm going to expand that, copy all of the code, place it right here. So that's there. But now the next thing which you have to do is that we have to use our component. So I'm going to just click on the code, I'm going to copy that. Now let me just go ahead and go to my app folder, and I'm going to create a folder, give it the name of like I don't know, pin would be fine. And now let me just create my page.tsx inside there. Let me just place all of that coding right here, and let's just fix this one out. Components, UI, and then we have our 3D pin in this case. Now let me just save this file. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go to my page.tsx, and let me just duplicate this line of code, and I'm gonna just rename that to like, I don't know, 3D pin or something like that. And I'm gonna also replace that with pin. And now let me just save that. I'm gonna go ahead and try it out right here. So instead of writing this card, I'm gonna just write a pin. I have to run my server first of all, so I'm gonna be using npm run dev. So it's gonna just spin up our server on this port, and we are getting this error right here. But now we have to go ahead and go to this component. We have to remove this export from here. We can also use our export default right here, but you know, I'm gonna just cut this export from here. And now let me just go to the bottom. Let me just place it right here. So we have export default. Let me just go to the top, copy the component name, go to the bottom, and now let me just place that right here, save our file. And here you can see we have our component right here, which is looking amazing. Okay, so you can totally customize that however you want. And yeah, that's one of my favorite component libraries. So if you want to check it out, so you have to go ahead and go to just ui.eternity.com, and it's going to bring you to this page right here, and you can learn more about that if you wanted to. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Take care, bye bye, love you all.